Texas on the I-20 corridor. So we're kind of south of the Texas Panhandle there, where winds are already sustained around 15 miles per hour. So you can see those winds getting stronger across southeastern New Mexico. And this is only the start of things to come, because while these sustained winds will be out there, the wind gusts could top up to 100 miles per hour across parts of New Mexico into Texas. You can see how those strong winds will have an impact all across the plains. And when we talk about this time of year, there's a lot of still brown grasses through the prairie lands and so many different spots. The threat actually extends well up into northern Illinois for red flag warnings today. So we know that this is a concern both today and into tomorrow with this storm system. But today's focus with that fire threat is really across eastern New Mexico, parts of Texas, extending into Oklahoma. Any sort of spark can easily create a fire, and then that's going to take off in these winds. And there's really not going to be a way to stop it. That's why this fire threat is at the extreme today. We already had some indications of it with the previous storm system at the beginning of March, so we still have that potential here as we go through time. Tonight, back into the 40s for Odessa. We still have the winds out there. We still have some of the hazy skies. Dusty skies out there due to some of what could be lofted, but this storm system starts to move east. A new low develops on it, and that's what's going to gear up for more of those thunderstorms Saturday on the central Gulf Coast. New Orleans, by the way, today very mild, as is so much of the nation. I mean, Chicago off to the races, so much of the eastern U.S. Feeling very warm, and a lot of this stemming from the southeast. You can see Montgomery 82 for that high, Atlanta 75, even Nashville with cloudy skies will be in the lower 80s. But the thunderstorms are starting to get going a little farther to the west ahead of the storm system, which the secondary punch of this will really come as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So tonight, while we do have somewhat weather still working their way on through some of these spots here, the real main show will be as we go through Saturday afternoon and into Saturday evening, talking about that threat for severe weather. First up, though, as we get the rain Friday night, heading into Saturday, there's rounds of showers and thunderstorms, especially across Kentucky into Tennessee. That's where we're concerned about the risk for some flooding. So don't undermine the threat for flooding here, even though farther to the south we'll have that tornado threat. There are going to be significant impacts across some areas as we've dealt with some wet weather recently, or in a few spots we have drought, so the ground could actually be really dry and just not ready to absorb that rainfall. Thunderstorms likely from Montgomery to Jackson tomorrow. This is our severe weather threat, especially through the afternoon for places like New Oklahoma, but this is really the impulse here of a lot of that energy coming in. And Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, look at all these individual thunderstorms breaking out. That's that risk for tornadoes that occurs here and continues to work its way eastward as we head throughout some of the overnight hour, the late afternoon, evening hours. And through the night, then there could be a few more thunderstorms that take off across parts of Alabama and Georgia, kind of leading to the trailing end of that line. And as this push towards the Atlantic coast, yeah, there will be thunderstorms Sunday too, some of which could be strong, severe, mostly with a damaging wind threat. So you can see that severe weather risk does take off into the northeast, but the focus of it off towards the south is going to be a moderate risk with heavy rainfall and the risk for damaging winds. Here in Chicago and blustery in Indianapolis with gusts more than 50 miles per hour, and we still have those 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts along the I-29 corridor as snow falls. Off towards the south, there will also be some other problems beyond the wind. We'll have rounds of thunderstorms here through Tennessee on your Saturday and across Kentucky, areas that have already had flooding in 2025, and we get more rain as we head through the day. But probably the greatest of concern will be that severe weather threat, which is highlighted across Mississippi and Alabama, includes parts of southeastern Louisiana and northwestern Florida. It's a high risk for severe weather in these areas. This is where widespread tornado and wind reports are. Our greatest tornado threat as we head through Saturday afternoon and Saturday night will be the long track tornadoes possible across Mississippi and Alabama, maybe even as far south as southeastern Louisiana. Here's what it looks like. There's that first storm system, but slingshotting around it is the second storm system, which just turns on the thunderstorm.